So the question is it necessary for a listed company, and that too a frequently traded company, to take valuation report from a registered valuer before making preferential allotment of its equity shares, especially in the light of the controversy which is being faced by PNB Housing Finance Limited? Before I move on, let me make a disclaimer that I am not the shareholder of PNB Housing Finance Limited, and otherwise also I am not connected to this company in any way. I am making this video just to share my knowledge with my professional colleagues, especially those who are pursuing the valuation course conducted by Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, and those who aspire to be a registered valuer. After listening to this video, after watching this, if you have any further query on this matter or anything related to valuation you want to ask me, I'm open to all, always available at tarunmahajanca@gmail.com and also on WhatsApp at 98930 40600. So, okay, first of all, let's discuss the controversy which PNB Housing Finance Limited is actually facing. If you look at the date line, let's visit the BSE website. So on 25th of May 2021, around 9 p.m., PNB Housing Finance submitted one intimation to the portal of the stock exchange that it is going to conduct a board meeting on 31st of May 2021 for considering fundraising. On 31st of May 2021, at 9:25 a.m. in the morning, it intimated stock exchange about the outcome of the board meeting. What was the outcome of the board meeting? Outcome of the board meeting was like this: the company is going to make preferential allotment to 4 investors, and the biggest one of the 4 is Pluto Investment, which is actually a Carlyle Group company, a very renowned investing group. So the company was planning to issue approximately 10 crore shares to these 4 investors, out of which more than 8 crore shares are to be issued to the Carlyle Group. Before I talk anything else about this, so this was a declaration made on 31st of May 2021. Look at the annual report of the company for the financial year ending 2020. The number of shares which have been issued by the company are approximately 16 crore. And now what company is proposing is to issue approximately 10 crore shares at an issue price of 390 rupees, raising roughly 4,000 crore rupees. So look here, company has roughly 16 crore shares now, and there is one promoter shareholder, which is obviously PNB, and PNB is holding 5.49 crore shares out of roughly 16.8 crore shares. And now company proposes to issue roughly 10 crore shares. So after this issue, roughly 40% of the control will be with these new investors, and consequently the promoter of this company, Punjab National Bank, will kind of lose control. If you try to look at the exact numbers, so Punjab National Bank is currently having 32.64% shares in the company, and after this proposed preferential allotment of equity shares, it will get down to the 20% level. Okay, forget about all those things and let's get back to our question about valuation. So for this, I would like to refer provisions of the Companies Act 2013. Section number 62 says that where at any time a company wants to issue shares, then first of all, those shares must be offered to existing shareholders in the form of a right issue. But if company wants to make preferential allotment, then section 62 subsection 1 clause C says that company must obtain a valuation report. So the price share should be issued at a price which is determined by valuation report of a registered valuer. Now the details are given in rule number 13 of the share and debenture rules 2014. Second proviso to sub rule 1 read like this: provided further that price of the share to be issued on preferential basis by a listed company shall not be required to be determined by valuation report of a registered valuer. So if you are a private company or unlisted public company and you are trying to make preferential allotment of shares, then only you need valuation report from a registered valuer. If you are a listed company, you don't need any valuation report as such. But definitely, if you're a listed company, you need to follow SEBI guidelines. Now, what does SEBI guidelines says? That if your share is frequently traded, what is the definition of frequently traded share? So, number of shares traded on the stock exchange in last 12 months, if they are at least 10% of the total shares issued of that class, then it is frequently traded. So if I read SEBI ICDR regulation, it says that for the purpose of this chapter, frequently traded shares means the shares of the issuer in which the traded turnover on any recognized stock exchange during the 12 calendar months preceding the relevant date is at least 10% of the total number of shares of such class of the issuer. If the share is infrequently traded, then valuation must be done by the independent valuer. But if the company is listed, if it is frequently traded, then you don't need valuation report of a registered valuer. Now, PNB Housing Finance Limited is a very much frequently traded company. So, according to SEBI ICDR, it will have to follow regulation number 164. It says that the issue price should not be less than the volume weighted average price of last 26 weeks or the volume weighted average price of the last 2 weeks, whichever is higher. I'm not going into exact detail of this calculation, but roughly I can say you calculate the average price of last 26 weeks, you calculate the average traded price of the last 2 weeks and take the number whichever is higher, and your issue price for preferential allotment should not be less than this cutoff price. Let's look at the traded price of PNB Housing Finance. So look here, 26 weeks is roughly half a year. So in December 2020, the share was traded at 337 rupees. Then it was fluctuating between 337 and 400 rupees. And in fact, up till the date of decision of the board meeting intimated to the exchange, that is 25th of May 2021, the price at which share was traded was 403 rupees. So if you calculate average of the price of last 6 months, or if you calculate the average of price of last 2 weeks, I have not done the calculation, but yeah, that will be roughly 390 rupees. So based on SEBI guidelines, company decided to issue shares to the Carlyle Group for 4,000 crore rupees for roughly 40% of the stake of the company at 390 rupees. It is very much in the compliance of the SEBI guidelines. But then what happened? Then those who advocate good corporate governance, they took an objection. So soon after the announcement, proxy advisory firm Stakeholder Empowerment Services SES questioned the manner of raising the fund and the price at which shares were to be issued. It said, no, 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 this is wrong. Number one, this is violation of Article of Association of the company. There must be some clause in Article of Association. And more important, you should take a report for fair value of the share from a registered valuer. To which actually company replied that look, we are a listed company. We are bound by SEBI guidelines. We don't need registered valuers report. And we have followed ICDR pricing regulation. And that's why we don't need a report over here. Now the objection taken by this group of people and understood by SEBI, and SEBI said that look, you cannot issue shares at this price. This is kind of against the law and against the Article of Association. Reason being that, have you noticed that PNB will lose the controlling interest? The Carlyle Group and three other companies will gain the controlling interest. So there must be some premium for control. The share price you are taking is from the stock exchange. Can you fully believe in that share price? See, I know this is the SEBI regulation because SEBI has realized that whatever price is prevailing in the market is a good price and at which you can issue shares. But the price traded, the price reflected on the stock exchange shows the value which is there for the minority of the shareholders. And this group is going to acquire majority stake, not majority, but still a big chunk of the shares. So they should definitely pay control premium over it, which is not reflected in the price. Though they are in compliance of the law, but this is not a good corporate governance. You are issuing shares at a low price and definitely this is disadvantageous not only for the shareholders of PNB Housing Finance Limited but also for the shareholders of PNB itself. Now against this order, company went to Securities Appellate Tribunal. Currently Securities Appellate Tribunal has given a relief that okay, fine, you can conduct the EGM but don't disclose the voting result. We will look into this matter by 5th of July and thereafter we will decide. Obviously, one of the two parties will lose, either SEBI or the company, and they may go to the Supreme Court thereafter. Okay, now let's take a hypothetical situation. The hypothetical situation is, suppose SET says that you need to appoint a registered valuer for valuation of equity shares of your company. Now suppose you are appointed as the registered valuer. So what do you think? Number one, is there a need to add control premium to the price while issuing shares? See, we are not talking about what is written in the law, but we are talking about what is prudent. So what I personally think is yes, because the price reflected at the stock exchange is for the minority and this group is going to acquire a controlling interest in the company. Sometimes controlling interest may be really very, very valuable. So that way they need to pay a little higher for that. Number two, let me ask you one more question. So kind of, what is happening that if somebody is coming into your company and they have, I'm not talking about the Carlyle Group anymore, I'm just taking a hypothetical situation now. So company is going to issue shares to some other company. If that other company acquires shares in your company, Suppose they will have a specific strategic advantage. That advantage is not available to any other market participant. Now your company is planning to make preferential allotment of its shares. And as a good corporate governance practice, it decides to appoint you as the registered valuer. Now forget about the control premium thing. I am saying that the proposed buyer will have a specific strategic advantage which is not available to other market participants. So let's say the current fair value of the company is, say, any X number, 100 crore rupees. If a new strategic partner is introduced in the company and there are many other people who are available in the market, the valuation of the company will go up to 120 crore rupees. But if this specific person is introduced as a shareholder in the company who is having his own strategic advantage, the valuation of the company will become 200 crore rupees. So a general market participant, if introduced in the company with the money, 100 crore rupees valuation will go up to 120 crore rupees. And if this new partner is introduced who is having a very specific advantage which is not available to others, then the valuation will go up to 200 crore rupees. And you have knowledge about this thing. So what do you feel as a valuer? What value should you assign? 100 crore rupees, which is the current fair value, or 120 crore rupees, which is the general strategic advantage available to other investors in the market, or 200 crore rupees, which is available to a very specific person. To answer this question, let's visit International Valuation Standard 104 basis of value. It says that market value, in the sense fair value, is the estimated amount for which an asset or liability should be exchanged on the valuation date between a willing buyer and a willing seller in an arm's length transaction after proper marketing and where the parties had each acted knowledgeably, prudently, and without compulsion. But it specifically says that market value does not reflect attributes of an asset that are of a value to a specific owner or purchaser that are not available to other buyers in the market. Now, such advantage may relate to the physical, geographical, economic, or legal characteristics of an asset. Market value requires the disregard of any such element of value because at any given date it is only assumed. Now, this is very important. It is only assumed that there is a willing buyer and not a particular willing buyer. Now, in the light of this information, I would like to conclude this matter as far as my opinion is concerned. Okay. So, what the registered valuer should do, if at all he is appointed in this case, he should definitely consider a control premium because any party in the market given a chance to invest in this company and to acquire roughly 40% stake in this company will be ready to pay a control premium. So that control premium should be incorporated in the price, number one. Number two, but you cannot say that this particular party has some particular advantage and therefore I say that the valuation should be even higher. That specific advantage should not be included, but the control premium should be included. So what is the conclusion of whole story? The conclusion is very simple. You need a registered valuer's report at the time of making preferential allotment of equity share if the company is unlisted or if it is infrequently traded listed company. But in case of frequently traded listed company, as per SEBI guideline, as per Companies Act, you don't need a valuation report by a registered valuer. Having said that, let me tell you one more thing, that even after this law, if the stakeholders feel that the price at which shares were issued was not justified, company could have fetched more price, and even the law is insufficient to protect their interest, they can go to the court, they can go to Securities Appellate Tribunal, they can go to Supreme Court. Why do we have judicial authorities at all? Just to take care of the situations when the law is insufficient to protect the interest of the people. They knock the door of the court, and thereafter maybe the court will look at the matter, they will see the question of fact, they will see the question of law, and if a court, even court comes to the conclusion that okay, the guideline is there, law is there, everything is done as per law, still there is some injustice, then court can say we are not the valuation expert, we hereby appoint one valuation expert, maybe a registered valuer, he will make the valuation, she will make the valuation, and company should accordingly issue shares. Or maybe the court can simply say the price at which shares were issued are simply correct, so we can close the matter over here. So now the ball is in the court of the judicial authorities, because otherwise the company is in compliance of the SEBI guidelines. After this, I would like to tell you one more thing, especially for those who are preparing for valuation examination. To help all my professional colleagues to prepare for valuation examination of IBBI, I have recorded some video sessions. Those are for 28 hours and those are fantastic because there I am discussing case studies, fixed income and option valuation. And I have seen people that we want to build our basic concepts of the valuation so that it helps us in examination as well as in real life. Many people keep asking me about this. That's why I have created these videos. When you watch these videos, when you practice questions based on these videos, you will get the depth of the concept of valuation. And you'll get an opportunity to solve maybe 40, 50, 60 case studies also. Once your grip on the fundamentals is strong, thereafter it will be easy for you to attempt questions in valuation examination, as well as it will help you when you step into the real life and do the valuation, because there also a lot of confusions arises, and if your fundamentals are clear, then it will be easy for you to make the valuation. So if you want to subscribe to these videos, you can contact my office staff at 98279 10983. You can simply drop a WhatsApp or make a phone call. Now, besides this, if you have anything to ask, this is just the office helpline. My personal number is already I have quoted. This is my personal number. As a student of valuation, if you have any difficulty, feel free to connect to me. As a registered valuer, facing any real life issues in valuation, you want my help, I'll be more than happy to help you in any manner. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.